أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ياسين والقرآن الحكيم إنك لمن المرسلين على صراط مستقيم تنزيل العزيز الرحيم لتنذر قوما ما أنذر آباؤهم فهم غافلون لقد حق القول على أكثرهم فهم لا يؤمنون إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم صدا ومن خلفهم سدا فأغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون وسواء عليهم أأنذرتهم أم لم تنذرهم لا يؤمنون إنما تنذر من اتبع الذكر وخشي الرحمن بالغيب فبشره بمغفرة وأجر كريم. إنا نحن نحيي الموتى ونكتب ما قدموا وآثارهم وكل شيء أحصيناه في إمام مبين. واضرب لهم مثلا أصحاب القرية إذ جاءها المرسلون إذ أرسلنا إليهم اثنين فكذبوهما فعززنا بثالث فقالوا إنا إليكم مرسلون. قالوا ما أنتم إلا بشر مثلنا وما أنزل الرحمن من شيء إن أنتم إلا تكذبون. قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين. قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. قالوا طائركم معكم أئن ذكرتم بل أنتم قوم مسرفون. وجاء من أقصى المدينة رجل يسعى قال يا قوم اتبعوا المرسلين اتبعوا من لا يسألكم أجرا وهم مهتدون. وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. أأتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردن الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. إني إذا لفي ضلال مبين. إني آمنت بربكم فاسمعون. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جند من السماء وما كنا منزلين إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها هبا فمنه يأكلون. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون. سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون. وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون. والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. والقمر قدرناه منازل حتى عاد كالعرجون القديم. لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون وخلقنا لهم من مثله ما يركبون. وإن نشأ نغرقهم فلا صريخ لهم ولا هم ينقذون إلا رحمة منا ومتاعا إلى حين. وإذا قيل لهم اتقوا ما بين أيديكم وما خلفكم لعلكم ترحمون. وما تأتيهم من آية من آيات ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. ويقولون متى هذا الوعد إن كنتم صادقين ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون. فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون ونفخ في الصور فإذا هم من الأجداث إلى ربهم ينصلون قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون سلام قولا من رب رحيم وامتازوا اليوم أيها المجرمون ألم أعهد إليكم يا بني آدم أن لا تعبدوا الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين وأن اعبدوني هذا صراط مستقيم ولقد أضل منكم جبلا كثيرا أفلم تكونوا تعقلون هذه جهنم التي كنتم توعدون اصلوها اليوم بما كنتم تكفرون اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون ولو نشاء لمسخناهم على مكانتهم فما استطاعوا مضيا ولا يرجعون ومن نعمره ننكسه في الخلق أفلا يعقلون وما علمناه الشعر وما ينبغي له إن هو إلا ذكر وقرآن مبين لينذر من كان حيا ويحق القول على الكافرين أولم يروا أنا خلقنا لهم مما عملت أيدينا أنعاما فهم لها مالكون وذللناها لهم فمنها ركوبهم ومنها يأكلون ولهم فيها منافع ومشارب أفلا يشكرون واتخذوا من دون الله آلهة لعلهم ينصرون لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون أولم يرى الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين وضرب لنا مثلا ونسي خلقه قال من يحيي العظام وهي رميم قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون اللهم صل على
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عن جابر بن عبد الله الأنصاري أنه قال عن فاطمة الزهراء عليه السلام بنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله قال سمعت فاطمة أنها قالت دخل علي أبي رسول الله في بعض الأيام فقال السلام عليك يا فاطمة فقلت وعليك السلام قال إني أجد في بدني ضعفا فقلت له أعيذك بالله يا أبتاه من الضعف فقال يا فاطمة ائتيني بالكساء اليماني فغطيني به فأتيته بالكساء اليماني فغطيته به وصرت أنظر إليه وإذا وجهه يتلأله كأنه البدر في ليلة تمامه وكماله. اللهم صل على فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسن قد أقبل وقال السلام عليك يا أماه فقلت وعليك السلام يا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي فقال يا أماه إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله فقلت نعم إن جدك تحت الكساء فأقبل الحسن نحو الكساء وقال السلام عليك يا جداه يا رسول الله أتأذن لي أن أدخل معك تحت الكساء فقال وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا صاحب حوضي قد أذنت لك فدخل معه تحت الكساء، فما كانت إلا ساعة وإذا بولدي الحسين قد أقبل وقال: السلام عليك يا أماه. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا قرة عيني وثمرة فؤادي. فقال لي: يا أماه، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة جد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. فقلت: نعم، إن جدك أخاك تحت الكساء. فدنا الحسين نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا جدة، السلام عليك يا من اختاره الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكما تحت الكساء؟ فقال: وعليك السلام يا ولدي ويا شافع أمتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل معهما تحت الكساء، فأقبل عند ذلك أبو الحسن علي بن أبي طالب وقال: السلام عليك يا بنت رسول الله. فقلت: وعليك السلام يا أبا الحسن يا أمير المؤمنين. فقال: يا فاطمة، إني أشم عندك رائحة طيبة كأنها رائحة أخي وابن عم رسول الله. فقلت: نعم، ها هو مع ولديك تحت الكساء. فأقبل علي نحو الكساء وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال له: وعليك السلام يا أخي ويا وسي وخليفتي وصاحب لوائي، قد أذنت لك. فدخل علي تحت الكساء، ثم أتيت نحو الكساء وقلت: السلام عليك يا أباتا يا رسول الله، أتأذن لي أن أكون معكم تحت الكساء؟ قال: وعليك السلام يا بنتي ويا بذعتي، قد أذنت لك. فدخلت تحت الكساء، فلما اكتملنا جميعا تحت الكساء أخذ أبي رسول الله بطرف الكساء وأومى بيده اليمنى إلى السماء وقالت: اللهم إن هؤلاء أهل بيتي وخاصتي وحامتي، لحمهم لحمي ودمهم دمي، يؤلمني ما يؤلمهم ويحزنني ما يحزنهم. أنا حرب لمن حاربهم وسلم لمن سالمهم وعدو لمن أعداهم ومحب لمن أحبهم. إنهم مني وأنا منهم، فاجعل صلواتك وبركاتك ورحمتك وغفرانك ورضوانك علي وعليهم، وأذهب عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. فقال الله عز وجل: يا ملائكتي ويا سكان السماوات، إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضية ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا في محبة هؤلاء الخمسة الذين هم تحت الكساء. فقال الأمين جبرائيل: يا ربي، ومن تحت الكساء؟ فقال عز وجل: هم أهل بيت النبوة ومعدن الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها. فقال جبرائيل: يا رب، أتأذن لي أن أحبط إلى الأرض ليكون معهم سادسا؟ فقال الله: نعم، قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمين جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله. العلي الأعلى يقرئك السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي، إني ما خلقت السماء مبنية ولا أرضا مدحية ولا قمرا منيرا ولا شمسا مضيئة ولا فلكا يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذن لي أن أدخل معكم، فهل تأذن لي يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله: وعليك السلام يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم، قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء فقال لأبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم رجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد. فقال علي لأبي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ما لجلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل عند الله. فقال النبي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي رضي الله فزنا وفاز شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال النبي الثاني يا علي والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واصطفاني بالرسالة نجيا ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محفل من محافل أهل الأرض وفيه جمع من شيعتنا ومحبينا وفيهم مهموم إلا وفرج الله هما ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله غما ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجته. فقال علي إذا والله فزنا وسعدنا وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا سعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
درود کا سہارا دے کے آپ لوگ تھوڑا تھوڑا اور آگے آ جائیے. برائے خوشنودی امام زمانہ بلند ترین سلوات. اعوذ باللہ من الشیطان الرجیم. بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم. ان اللہ و ملائکتہ یصلون علی النبی یا ایھا الذین آمنوا صلوا علیہ وسلموا تسلیما. اللهم صل علی محمد وعجل فرجهم. کس کی ہمت تھی کہ سراہ گزر سے گزرے مسکراتے ہوئے شبیر جدھر سے گزرے. چھڑ گیا تھا کہیں شبیر کا قصہ شاید ابھی روتے ہوئے کچھ لوگ ادھر سے گزرے. مجلس-e-Aza کا آغاز تلاوت کلام پاک اور اس کے بعد فضائل اہل بیت فضائل بجدن پاک یعنی حدیث کی ساتھ جس کو پیش کرنے کی سعادت حاصل کر رہے تھے محمد مہدی اور ان سے پہلے فارس مصطفیٰ نے یاسین کی تلاوت کی. تیروں سے سجایا گیا تابوت حسن کا یہ پھول بھی کملا گیا زہرا کے چمن کا. شانوں پہ بٹھاتے تھے جسے احمد گلشن کیا حال ہوا آج اسی گل و پیرہن کا. اخلاق کا مظہر تھا جو ایمان کا بہکر لاشا ہے اسی خستہ جگر شیریں سخن کا. گزارش کروں گا علی عباس رضوی سے کہ بارگاہ جناب سید السلام علیہ میں سلام پیش کریں برائے خوشنودی 14 معصوم بلند ترین سلمان.
محمد وعلى محمد صلوات. سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا. سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا. جہاں بھی جس نے بھی چاہا مجھے بہت مارا. سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا. مدینے والے محمد کی میں نواز
بتایا جس گھڑی میں فاطمہ کی پوتی ہوں، جو نام دادی کا آیا مجھے بہت مارا، سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا، یہ درد ہوگا فراموش نہ کبھی مجھ سے، تھے اس کے ہاتھ تمہارے لہو میں ڈوبے ہوئے، کہ جن سے شمرین بابا مجھے بہت مارا، سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا، وہ خون روتا تھا حالت کو دیکھ کر میری، تماچے لگتے گئے میں ضعیف ہوتی رہی، میں چپ ہوئی تو دوبارہ مجھے گواہ ہے میرا بھیا مجھے بہت مارا، سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا، یوں اپنے بچوں کو بازار میں ہنساتے رہے، خوشی کے واسطے ان کی مجھے رلاتے رہے، میں چپ ہوئی تو دوبارہ مجھے بہت مارا، سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا، بچھڑ گئی تھی سفر میں اونٹ سے گر کر، تلاش ختم ہوئی جب لین کی مجھ پر، اٹھایا شمرین درہ مجھے بہت مارا، سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا، لحد میں آ گئی دادی تو ان سے بولوں گی، میں 4 برسوں میں لگتی ہوں آپ کے جیسی، میں بھی پہلو شکستہ مجھے بہت مارا، سکینہ کہتی تھی بابا مجھے بہت مارا، جہاں بھی جس نے بھی چاہا مجھے بہت مارا، اور محمد وآل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم
کانپتے دل منہ سے اگلنے لگے بہن جو حسن، پیٹ کر رونے لگی یہ بھی بہن وہ بھی بہن، سر جھکائے ہوئے روتے تھے چہے تشنا بہن، بہ گیا چھوٹے بڑے کتنے ہی ٹکڑوں سے لگن، دل سرپاش کی گرتا کوئی کیوں کر ٹکڑے، آئی آواز جگر کے ہیں 72 ٹکڑے۔ گزارش ہے محمد طاہر سے یہ بات ہے جناب اسے تصاویر پڑھا بھی کچھ سبیش کریں برائے خوشنودی امام زمانہ
ایک اور درود بھیجے محمد وآل محمد۔ بی بی زینب شام کی وقتوں سے کچھ فرماتی ہیں، اسی حساب سے مرثی کی خدمت اشعار پیش کرتا ہوں۔ شام کی اس کا سقا تھا اب بہن پاس ہوگی نہ بھائی، ارے بات اتنی سی بس یاد رکھنا، میری بچی ہے غم کی ستائی، تم نے بازار میں بھی ستایا، اب نہ اس کو ستاؤگی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو، اور آخری بات، شامیوں کی بہو بیٹیوں سے کہہ رہی تھی وہ اکبر یہ رو کے، یہ امانت ہے پردیسیوں کی، کر رہی ہوں تمہارے حوالے، ارے مجھ سے ایک بار بس اتنا کہہ دو، اپنا وعدہ نبھاؤگی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو کہ روز قبر سکینہ پہ آؤگی تم، شام کی عورتوں ایک وعدہ کرو۔
درود بر محمد یہ معجزے سے کم نہیں کہ فرش پیشتہ مجلس امام حسین کی ہے، لیکن اس فرش پہ 12 امام اور عباس، جناب سکینہ، جناب زینب اور تمام اہل بیت کا ذکر ہوتا ہے۔ مجلس سے شہادت امام حسن ہے، اور آپ کو معلوم ہے کہ امام حسن وہ مظلوم امام ہے کہ جن کے تابوت پہ تیر چلائے گئے، گھر سے مسموم کا تابوت جو باہر نکلا، مجمع اہل تمنا بھی کھلے سر نکلا، رخ کیے یہ جو سوئے قبر پیمبر نکلا، تاک نے ان کی وہاں فتنہ محشر نکلا، مچ گیا شور کہ سوئیں گے نہ سونے دیں گے، قبر احمد کے قریب دفن نہ ہونے دیں گے۔ گزارش کروں گا برادر محمد حسن سے بارگاہ معصومین میں علیہ السلام پیش کریں، برائے خوشنود لیے 14 معصومین بلند ترین سلوات۔
محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ
غم شہر میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے، غم شہر میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے، مقدر ہم بنا لیتے ہیں جیسے کسی کے پاس وہ نسخہ کہاں ہے ہمیشہ میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے بغیر الفت آل محمد بغیر الفت آل محمد عمل کیا زندگی بھی رائے گاں ہے غم شہ میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے ملے کیسے اسے جنت کا راستہ ملے کیسے اسے جنت کا راستہ منافق کربلا جاتا کہاں ہے غم شہ میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے جسے کعبہ کہا کرتی ہے دنیا جسے کعبہ کہا کرتی ہے دنیا ابو طالب کے بیٹے کا مکان ہے غم شہ میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے سزائے موت دی باطل کو جس نے سزائے موت دی باطل کو جس نے وہ ایک 6 ماہ کا قانون داں ہے غم شہ میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے اذان گونجی علی اکبر کی رن میں صدا پر سوز ہے لہجہ جواں ہے غم شہ میں جو آنکھوں سے رواں ہے بس اپنے مصائب کے لیے دو اشعار پر محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم
اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد
افسوس نبی زادیوں کا شام میں جانا سجاد سے پوچھو نبی ذاتیوں کا شام میں جانا سجاد سے پوچھو سرننگے وہ ماں بہنوں کا دربار میں جانا سجاد سے پوچھو چھپتی تھی نبی زادی نبی زادی کے پیچھے کس شرم و حیا سے چھپتی تھی نبی زادی نبی زادی کے پیچھے کس شرم و حیا سے شمر کا ان بیبیوں کے نام بتانا سجاد سے پوچھو افسوس بیٹھے ہوئے دربار میں سب چھوٹے بڑے تھے اور سادات کھڑے تھے بیٹھے ہوئے دربار میں سب چھوٹے بڑے تھے سادات کھڑے تھے سر تشت میں رکھا ہوا زینب کو دکھانا سجاد سے پوچھو افسوس نبی زادیوں کا شام میں جانا سجاد سے پوچھو افسوس پر محمد و آل محمد صلی اللہ
جزاک اللہ محمد حسن بارگاہ جناب سید السلام علیہ اور سب ہائے زہر نے حسن کو تڑپایا اس طرح تھا پہلی اڑا کا طائر تہ دام جس طرح تھا کر کے حوالے قاسم شبیر کے حسن نے فروا کا ہاتھ زینب کے ہاتھ میں تھا یہ سازش ثقیفہ کی تیسری کڑی تھی تیروں کے بادلوں میں زہرا کا گلبدن تھا نہلا کے ہم نے بھیجا سفید پہلن میں میت کا کیا جرم تھا کیوں سرخ سبز کفن تھا ملتمس ہوں برادر محمد باقر سے کہ بار رحمان سرو میں خطاب پیش کریں برائے خوشنودی مولا مشکل خوش بلند ترین سلوات برائے خوشنودی مولا مشکل کشا بلند ترین صلوات
نعرہ تکبیر اللہ اکبر نعرہ رسالت یا رسول اللہ نعرہ حیدری یا حیدری یا حیدری صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد اللہم صلی علی محمد و آل محمد
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعزيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا بالقاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيت الطيبين والطاهرين والمعصومين والمظلومين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. دعاء إمام زمان. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن حسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. All praises be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us yet another opportunity to come together in the remembrance of the Ahlul Bayt of Islam. As the martyrdom of the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa and Imam Hasan alayhi salam has recently passed. Today I would like to focus a little bit about the Prophet's life. When the Holy Prophet, he went to Mi'raj, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to him. He asked him a question. He said, Ya Ahmad, why do you think I have made you the leader of the prophets, the master of all of the prophets? Right, because all of these prophets, they were grateful. Why is it that I have made you the master of the prophets? And so we also want to focus here on the etiquette of Rasulullah when he replies. Could he have replied? Does he know the answer? Of course he knows the answer. How does he reply to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah knows best. Allah knows best. And so then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, he says that it is because you have the best akhlaq out of all. And so we see this repeatedly in the Quran as well, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he repeats that indeed the Prophet, he has the best of manners, he has the best of akhlaq. And so today when we are discussing his life, we'll be talking about some of the lessons, some of the narrations from the life of Rasulullah with regards to his akhlaq and how he has preached akhlaq to us, so that we may, inshallah, myself included, may take some advice, some lessons from his life. Now the very first thing, the very first part of akhlaq that's very important that maybe sometimes we don't really consider is the smile. We find that we wouldn't see Rasulullah laugh, but we would see that there are narrations that he would nearly always be smiling. He would smile a lot. And even if you think about it, in life, you see that this can actually make a very big difference if you're smiling when you're talking to someone. You go into a store or you have a job interview somewhere, right? And you come and you're looking angry, you're looking glum. It doesn't create a good impression. If you're meeting with someone, maybe you'll ruin their day. Maybe they were having a good day, Now you've ruined their day with your attitude, with your mood, right? As opposed to if you approach them with a smile, you approach them in a friendly manner, then maybe they were having a bad day. Now you've improved their day, right? Now you've made their day better. You yourself are showing good manners. You have a good attitude, right? We see, for example, with Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. One of his enemies, he had a criticism of Imam Ali. He said that, yes, you do everything right as a leader, but as a leader, you shouldn't be smiling so much. It's not good. And so we see Imam Ali himself, he used to smile a lot. That this is what his enemies would come and say, this is a criticism. Right? This person himself, he didn't have very good akhlaq. But we see Imam Ali, who had some of the best akhlaq, he always used to smile. Even in tough times, times when other people would be stressed, times when other people would be screaming, he would have a smile on his face. And this is a key to our akhlaq. Now we move on to some of the other aspects of Rasulullah's life. And this one I want to iterate with a narration, a story. When Rasulullah, he was passing a group of very poor people. They were servants, they were slaves in that group. And they were just sitting there, they were on the street. And Rasulullah came, he greeted them, and they told Rasulullah that, we wish that we had a house. Rasulullah said that, why is it that you want to have a house? And they said that it's because we want to invite you to our home so that you can eat with us, you can spend time with us. So we want to have a house for this reason. Rasulullah told them that you don't need a house. You don't need a house. You can invite me anywhere, I'll come. He said that this is where we live, this is where we sleep, this is where we eat, on the street, on this dirty street. Are you going to come here? And if we invite you? Rasulullah said, yes, I'll come here. If you invite me here, I'll come, I'll eat with you here. They said, okay, but we will invite you on the days that we have good food. Sometimes we have good food, sometimes we have bad food. Today we don't have good food. We will invite you on the days that we have good food. Rasulullah said, no, don't worry about good food, bad food. You invite me, I will come sit with you, I will eat with you. So they said, even if we have this food over here right now, this bread that's so dry, so stale, we can barely chew it. Rasulullah said, yes, I will eat it with you. So then at that point, they invited Rasulullah to come sit with them, to join them for their meal. And so we see from Rasulullah's akhlaq how important it is to not be arrogant. Right? This is a sin we should try to avoid. We should do our very, very best to avoid. We find that Rasulullah, when he used to walk, his mannerisms, he didn't show arrogance. He used to have his shoulders down, his abba used to be collected. When he would walk, he wouldn't take heavy steps, he would lift his feet up, he would take light steps, right? He didn't have any arrogance. When a lady came, she saw that he was eating with all of these servants, all of these slaves. She told the Prophet, she said that, why are you eating like slaves? And so what did Rasulullah respond with? He said, is there a bigger slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala other than me? And so we see we have to change our attitude, that we are not focusing on this world. Remember that we are all slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is the point of having any arrogance in this world? Right? And so we have, please stand salawat. Rasulullah is someone who was the head of the government. He had the whole state, he was ruling, he was the leader. We find that because he had no arrogance, he would care about each and every single person. There is a narration where he was in a market, he was walking across a market, and he saw there was a girl, she was crying. She was just sitting there crying, she wasn't moving. And so Rasulullah came up to her, he asked her, what's wrong? And so when Rasulullah asked her, she said that, I was given some money by my masters, I'm a servant. And I was given some money by my masters to go and get something from the market. But when I was walking here, I've lost that money. I don't have it anymore. And now I don't know what to do. I don't have the money. If I go back, they're going to say I stole the money. And so Rasulullah at that time, he said, how much money did they give you? She said, 2 dirham. He took out 2 dirham, he gave it to that girl. And he said, go buy from the market and then go back to your house. And so then she went, and Rasulullah, he went. He was going somewhere as well. Then on the way back, Rasulullah is returning. And he sees in the same in that same spot, that girl, she is sitting there, and she's crying again. Rasulullah, he approaches her. He says that, I gave you the money, you've gone to get the things from the market. Why are you now sitting here crying again? And so she says that, if I go now, I'm going to get in trouble, that I'm going to be late. They said that, how can it take you so long? Why did it take you so long? And so I'm scared of them. And so Rasulullah, he asked her, he said that, are they my believers? Are they Muslim? She said, yes, they're Muslim. And so then Rasulullah, he said, okay, I will come with you. Personally, I will go with you to your house and I will do intercession. I'll be the one who supports you over there. And so then they went to that house where she was living, where she was serving. And the Prophet, he knocked on the door. He said salam very loudly. They could hear, but they didn't respond. He said salam again, no response. He said salam a third time, they all came rushing. Rasulullah asked them, did you not hear me say salam? And they said, yes, we heard you, O Rasulullah, but we ordinary people, we heard that you were saying salam to us, so we wanted to hear it again and again. And so then Rasulullah said, yes, he greeted them, and then he said that, I have brought with you your servant, the one who you have sent. And she had lost her money, I gave her the money, she has now brought her things, but she was very scared because she was going to be late. So I've come here on her behalf to support her, to provide intercession for her. And so will you take this? Will you believe this? And so they said, of course, Rasulullah, we will believe this, we will take this intercession. And in fact, because of this, she is now free. We will let her go. She is no longer one of our servants. And so we see someone who would have been so busy, a head of state, a leader, absolutely no arrogance in his mannerisms. He went all the way for one person. He made sure that she was okay. Alright? Please recite the salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we know that first we should try to smile as much as we can for our akhlaq. The second thing, we should avoid arrogance. We shouldn't be arrogant. Now, a third aspect that we can take from the life of Rasulullah is that we shouldn't be greedy. Why? There's a hadith that says, please recite salam. There's a hadith, there is a narration where the Prophet, he was talking in the masjid. And he had many companions. One of his companions, he was a richer companion, he was sitting there with Rasulullah. When he was sitting there, another companion came. This companion, he was visibly poor. He didn't look like he had much wealth. He looked a little bit dirty. And so when he came, he was about to sit next to the person, the companion, with lots of wealth, expensive clothing. When he was about to sit, that companion, he takes his abah, he folds it in. He doesn't want that person to touch it. Rasulullah, he notices. He says that, what are you doing? Why is it that you've done this? Do you think that your money would have gone to this person if he had just simply touched your abah? Why is it that you are taking this much care for it? And so then that companion realizes, he gets scared. He sees that Rasulullah is actually angry. He's displeased with him. He gets scared. He asks Rasulullah for forgiveness. Rasulullah tells him that, ask that person for forgiveness. Don't ask me. And so then he asks that poor companion, he says to him that, if you forgive me, I'll give you half of my wealth. I'll give half of it away. And so that companion, he says that, I forgive you, but I don't want any of your wealth. And so that companion, so the Rasulullah says that he has forgiven you. And so then that companion, the rich companion, he asks the Rasulullah that, why is it that he is not taking any of my money? I was willing to give it to him. I asked for forgiveness, I was willing to give away half of it. And so then that Rasulullah, he asks the poor companion that, why is it that you've not taken his wealth? And so then that companion, he replies that, I fear that if I had taken half of his wealth, I would have become just like him. Right? So it's important, number one, that we don't have arrogance, we don't have greed when it comes to wealth. We shouldn't be acting as if we want to hoard and hoard and hoard. right? We should be spending in halal way. We should be spending, we should be giving away in whichever way we can. Now, there is a hadith, there is actually another narration where these young Muslims, they're fighting. They're not fighting, they're fighting, they're competing. And they're competing to lift rocks. At that time, this was how they could determine who was the strongest person. Right now, we go to the gym, we lift weights. I can see a couple of the people in here who are regular gym goers as well, mashallah. But back then, they didn't have these weights, they didn't have dumbbells, barbells, right? And so at that time, they used to lift rocks. And so they would see who could lift the heaviest rock to see who was the strongest. At that time, Rasulullah, he passed by this group of young men. And he asked them, he said that, what are you guys doing? What are you boys doing? And so they said that we're trying to determine who is the strongest person. And we're doing this by lifting these heavy rocks. We're seeing who can lift the heaviest rock. And so at that time, Rasulullah, he told them, is it okay that if I tell you who is the strongest amongst you? They said, Rasulullah, of course. Of course, we'll take whatever you say, we will take. You told us that there is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we believed you, we didn't see. You told us that there is heaven, there is hell, we didn't see it. You said it, we believed it. So of course, this small thing like this, you will tell us, we'll believe it. And so Rasulullah at that time, he says 3 points. First one, the strongest man is he who when pleased doesn't displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sometimes when we get happy, when we want to celebrate, everything goes out the window. Any thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we like to celebrate. Some people like to go, they start dancing, they overdo it. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like this. So when we're happy, we don't displease Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
برائے خوشنودی حضرت محمد مصطفیٰ احمد مجتبی رحمت للعالمین بلند تر صلوات.
Then the next point he mentioned is that when he is displeased, he doesn't displease the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we're angry, when we're upset, it's very easy. A lot of us, we may do it, that we get upset at the people around us. Right? We displease them, we get angry at them, we may scream, yell at them. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't like this. That when you're displeased, when you yourself are upset, don't go and displease the creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then the third point that he mentions is that when you have power, when you have, for example, government, leadership, anything, when you have any sort of power, then you do not take more for yourself than what you deserve. He says that these 3 things are what makes a person the strongest. Right, so we see in these narrations that we have our definitions of particular words. But when the Ahlul Bayt, when Rasulullah, they want to teach us something, they take these words, they give us the definition that is beneficial for us. So this is what Rasulullah defines to us as strength. Right? Now this was strength. Now we have a narration where someone came to Rasulullah, he asked that which of your companions is the bravest. And so when they asked Rasulullah, Rasulullah said that go ask Ali. Go ask Imam Ali. Why? Because Imam Ali, he is Asadullah al-Ghalib. There was many Asadullah. Hazrat Hamza, he is Asadullah. Hazrat Abbas, he is Asadullah. Hazrat Ja'far, he is Asadullah. But Imam Ali, he is Asadullah al-Ghalib. Right? And so then they went and they asked Imam Ali. They asked Imam Ali, who is the bravest? And so Imam Ali at that time, he told them that it's he who goes against his own desires. Right? Now where do we see this in Imam Ali's life? Himself. So he said this to the other people, but where do we see it in his life? We see it in the battle of Khandaq. Right? We look at the battle of Khandaq when he came against Amr bin Abdul Wad. Who was Amr bin Abdul Wad? Very strong person. He was known for his strength and his fighting ability. They say that when his spear broke, he picked up a baby camel once, started fighting with that. Right? So his strength was known, his bravery was known, he was known to be a warrior. Imam Ali, he came up against him. Now, we want to correlate this with the hadith of the Prophet, where the Prophet says that the one strike of Ali on the day of Khandaq is better than the worship of Thaqalain, of the humans and the jinns. Now, when it was asked that which strike, because at the Battle of Khandaq, Imam Ali, he had 70 strikes on that day. Now 70 strikes, someone asked that which strike of it is better than the worship of Thaqalain, better than the worship of humans and the jinns. So we have ulama who say that it is not actually any of the strikes or any of the 70 strikes that Imam Ali had on that day. In fact, it is the one strike that he took back, that he actually didn't strike Amr bin Abdul Wahid. How? It is that one where he was on the chest of Amr. He could have killed Amr bin Abdul Wahid. At that time, he spat on Imam Ali. Imam Ali, did he kill him right there and then? No, we see that he got up, he walked away. People were confused. They asked him that, you know, he is a strong warrior. We finally got him. You've got him down. You could have killed him. This was our opportunity. We may not have another opportunity like this. Imam Ali said no. Why? He said that if I had killed him in that moment, he had angered me. It would have been for myself. I would have killed him and it would have been for myself. But I wanted to kill, I wanted to do this, I wanted to strike qurbatan ilallah. Just for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so he went away, he returned, and then he killed Amr bin Abdul Wahid. So we see it wasn't the strike that he actually killed. It was the one strike that he held back.
برائے خوشنودی مولا الموحدین مشکل کشا شیر خدا حضرت علی ابن ابی طالب علیہ السلام صلوات.
So now continuing with what we can learn from Rasulullah, from the Aimah with regards to our akhlaq, we have that we should smile. We shouldn't have greed, we shouldn't be arrogant. What is another lesson that we can learn? We learn about jealousy, that we shouldn't be jealous and we shouldn't be envious. One thing is jealousy. That's when we want something that another person has. Right? Then there is envy. And this is even one step further. That not only do we want what the other person has, or sometimes maybe we don't even want it. But what we really, really desire is that that other person, he doesn't have it. Right? And neither of these things are good. Both of these things are sins. We should try our best to avoid jealousy, to avoid envy. Because it's a hadith that jealousy eats up all of our good deeds like fire burns through dry wood. We have the hadith. This is from the time of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. Where there was a person who was very envious of his neighbor. In Kufa, there was a person very, very envious. He didn't want his neighbor to succeed, to have anything. And so one day he tells his servant, his slave, he tells him that this is what I want you to do. I want you to take me up to the roof of my neighbor and then kill me, leave me there. Tie my hands, my legs, kill me and leave me on his roof. Servant asked him, why? Why do you want me to kill you? He said that if you kill me and you leave me on his roof, then he will be blamed for my murder. And then he will also be killed as a punishment. So you see, look at the extent that he's gone. He was willing to even kill himself. Why? Because he was so envious of his neighbor. He said that I don't care if I die, as long as he dies too. And that was his mindset. And so the servant, he obliges, he follows the order, he takes his master up to the roof, kills him, leaves the body there. The next day, the people of Kufa, they see that there's a body on this man's roof. They say that obviously, this neighbor, this person whose house it is, he must have killed his neighbor. This man is trying to tell everyone, no, I'm innocent, I didn't kill him. But they said, well, it has to be you. And so then they started to take him away. And then at that time, Imam Ali said, wait a little bit, he's innocent. He said, how can he be innocent? You'll find out soon. At that time, a little while later, that servant, he comes back. He says to everyone that I couldn't bear it any longer. I have to tell the truth that this man, he is innocent. What had happened was that I had been ordered by my master to go and kill him and then leave his body on the house of his neighbor. And so then they're all shocked that this person, he's done this. Then they asked Imam Ali that, who do we punish then? Do we punish the neighbor or do we punish the servant? He said, well, neighbor is obviously innocent. We know that now. Do we punish the servant? He said, no, we don't punish the servant. He was following the orders that he had been given. That was his role. And after that, he had come back and he had made sure that this person's life had been saved. Otherwise, 2 people would have been dead. So don't punish either of them. And so you see that at the end of all this, that person who was so envious of his neighbor, so jealous of his neighbor, that he was willing to die just so that his neighbor would also face the same. In the end, he died. His neighbor was innocent. He was never tried. He had never gone and gotten punished for murder because they knew he was innocent. In the end, he did harm to himself and there was no harm to his neighbor. And so we see that when it comes to envy, when it comes to jealousy, in the end that we're only doing harm to ourselves, right? We're not doing harm to anyone else. It is only within us, right? We develop hatred, we develop jealousy, and it ends up just not being good for our own selves. It takes us away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please recite salam. Now I'd like to go through some of the things that we've discussed. I want to say that how we can actually avoid them. What are some of the steps that we can take? So, for example, with arrogance, with the couple that we discussed, how can we avoid this? One of the acts that we've been recommended is that we sit on the floor and eat. Reduces us so that we become humble. Another thing is that we should when we're sitting in a group of people, we let others speak before we speak ourselves. Maybe someone interrupts us, right? At that point, don't get angry. Let them finish. Let them speak, and then you can speak afterwards. We have another narration that says that we should live simply to help us not from being arrogant. Once someone asked Salman Farsi, they said that, why don't you ever wear new clothes? Salman, he told them at that time that I will wear new clothes when I have become free. What did he mean by this? When he dies, when he passes away, then he will wear new clothes, his kafan. Right? Before that, he said, I don't need to wear new clothes before that. Right? Another act that can help us stay away from arrogance is that we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? The act of sujood. Sajda, when we do sajda, it is something that helps us humble ourselves, that we put our heads, we put our faces to the ground. That is why the Arabs at the time when Rasulullah introduced salah to them, when he introduced namaz to them, and he told them that you have to do sujood, you have to do sajda, they didn't like this. Why? They were very arrogant people. And so by praying, by doing sajda, we help ourselves become humble, taking away the arrogance from ourselves. Another act that we can do is do dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because someone who is arrogant, he wouldn't ask anyone for anything. I have everything, I can do everything myself. No, we humble ourselves, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for dua. We ask Him for whatever it is that we need. This helps us stay away from arrogance. Another act is that when we eat or drink, we don't eat or drink by ourselves. We eat or drink with other people, and then when we have those other people, we help serve them. Right? We don't eat first ourselves. Or when we need something, even if it is close to us, we ask someone. Right? Because it helps us humble ourselves. Now, how can we remove greed? Removing greed, those who have greed, they like to hoard. They don't like to spend any money at all. So then you take a step that you spend little by little. In good causes, in halal ways, in charity. You spend little by little. If someone who's very, very greedy, if the next day they decide, I don't want to be greedy anymore, and they spend a bunch of money, maybe that'll help for that day, maybe the next day. After that, they'll realize, that was a lot. I don't want to do that anymore. They'll become greedy again. They'll want to hoard wealth again. So little by little, increase, start small, and then increase and increase to avoid greed. How do we avoid jealousy? How do we avoid envy? One of the ways is that we talk good of other people, right? Because when you're jealous of someone, when you're envious of someone, what is something that people do? When they're jealous, they like to talk down people. They like to backbite. They like to say bad things about particular people. So we take that away, we speak good of them. We say good things about them, helps us remove our jealousy. The other thing is that we please people, right? If we're pleasing people, then it is less likely that we feel jealous, right? Because we want to do such a thing, we want to help them, and so we will feel less jealous. Please recite a salawat. Now we also learn from Rasulullah the akhlaq that he had towards his family, towards the Ahlul Bayt, towards especially his daughter. See that whenever Bibi Fatima, when she would walk in, Rasulullah, he would stand from his place. And he would do this every single time that his companions, they asked him that, is it wajib for us? Do we have to, when our daughters, they come into the room, do we also have to stand? And so Rasulullah at that time, he told them that it's not wajib unless you have a daughter like Fatima. Right? And so we see that the relationship of Rasulullah and Bibi Fatima was so close. We see that when he went to Baqer, a small city close to Makkah, and he went to preach. This was in the early days of his prophethood. He went to preach, and they hurt him, they stoned him, they threw stones at him. Even the kids, they would throw stones at him. It was a very difficult job preaching. In fact, it was so difficult, he was covered head to toe in blood. Jibreel, he came down to Rasulullah. He asks the Prophet that, do you want, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking, do you want us to punish these people? All the other prophets, when times got tough, they would ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those prophets, that bring the azab of Allah on these people, punish these people. That I've done all I can, I can't do anymore, it's difficult. But Rasulullah, he would never do badua for his ummah, he would never do it for his people. He covered, people would throw stones at him day after day, and he refused to do any badua, he refused to bring the azab of Allah on the people. He would come home, covered head to toe in blood, and you know what he used to say? He used to be thinking that, not about himself, he used to think that now I have to go in this state, and my daughter Fatima, she's going to open the door. She's going to see me like this now. And so when Rasulullah, he entered his house, and when Bibi Fatima, she saw him, even she didn't point it out. She says that, oh father, you look very tired. Let me help you. Let me get some water. Let me help you freshen up. And so she would help her father from all of those cruel acts that those people did. And so at that time, that is when Rasulullah said that, oh Fatima, you are like my own mother. Who is like my mother. That's how carefully Bibi Fatima used to take care of Rasulullah.
برائے خوشنودی جناب فاطمہ الزہرا حجاب اللہ عصمت کبریٰ بدعت الرسول بلند تر صلوات.
Rasulullah, he would say that when I look at the face of my daughter, when I look at the face of Fatima, that is what gives me strength to continue preaching. That he would face all of those calamities, then when he would return home, he would see the face of his daughter and he would have strength. Why? He says that because I would see in the face of Fatima, there are 11 Imams. So we see that there was such difficulty preaching for Rasulullah, and yet he would continue preaching until there was the time of his death, when he was passing away after he had been poisoned. He was on his deathbed. At that time, Imam Hasan and Imam Hussein, they came to Rasulullah. They came and they went onto the chest of Rasulullah. Bibi Fatima, she comes. She says, oh Hasan, oh Hussein, my sons, do not hurt your grandfather. He is in pain right now. Do not go on top of him. And at that time, Rasulullah, he says that, no, Fatima, do not take them away from me. When they are on top of me, when I see them, it brings me peace. It brings me inner peace. When I see them, I see that they are going to carry on my message. How are they going to carry on my message? One of them I see, he is vomiting his liver out. And the other one I see on the plains of Karbala, and his throat is being severed. When the time of the shahadat of Imam Hassan alayhi salam came, when Jordan had given him poison, even at that time, I want us to look at the akhlaq of Imam Hassan alayhi salam. When Jordan had given him poison, she looked very scared. She was nervous. Imam Hassan, he asked her, why are you scared now? You've poisoned me. You've done your job. You've gotten what you wanted. Why is it that you're scared now? Why are you nervous? She says that I'm scared everyone's going to now come. You're going to tell them that I am the killer. I'm going to be present here. What will I do? Everyone is going to be angry at me. And at that time, Imam Hassan, what does he do? Look at his etiquette, look at his akhlaq. He tells her that there is a back door. Leave from the back door, run away now, and you won't have to face anyone. This is Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Imam Hassan, he is poisoned. He has vomited out his liver into a dish. Imam Hussein, when he enters the room of Imam Hassan, he sees that dish. He starts crying. He starts crying and crying. The first thing Imam Hassan, what does he say to his brother? He says that take this dish and hide it, oh Hussein. Why? Why does he want Imam Hussein to hide it? Because now my sister Zainab is about to come. I do not want her to see the pieces of my liver. I do not want her to see this. I tell Imam Hassan, come to the plains of Karbala. 70 steps away, Bibi Zainab, she is standing there as Imam Hussein, he is slaughtered. Imam Hussein, he continues crying in the presence of Imam Hassan. But Imam Hassan, he says that everyone can cry on me, oh Hussein, but you do not cry on me. Imam Hussein, he asks, why? I want to cry on you, oh my brother. He says, La yawmaka yawmaka ya Aba Abdullah. There is no day like yours, oh Hussein. Why? Because around me today I will have my siblings, I will have my companions. My head right now, it rests in your lap on the day of Ashura. Oh Hussein, your head, there will be no one's lap, it will be on the sands of Karbala. You won't have any companions with you. Your brothers will not be present with you. Your sons will not be present with you at that time. Imam Hassan, he passes away. He passes with great pain. Imam Hussein, he gives the ghusl. He gives the coffin to Imam Hassan alayhi salam. And at that time, there was a wasiyat. We find in narrations, there was a wasiyat that Imam Hassan gave his brother Hussein. He says that after I've passed away, go and bury me next to the Prophet. Bury me next to Rasulullah. But if anyone fights against this, if you see that there is going to be a potential battle, then do not fight in the city of my grandfather Rasulullah. Go and take me to Jannatul Baqer. And so the janazah of Imam Hassan, it leaves his house. It is heading towards the grave of Rasulullah. At that time, Bibi Zainab, she stops any of the children from leaving the house. She knows what is going to happen to the janazah of Imam Hassan. Imam Hassan's body, it gets closer towards the grave of Rasulullah. And they tell the companions that you cannot bury him here. No one is going to be buried near the Prophet. This is the first janazah that has left the family of the Prophet. The Prophet himself, he was buried in his own house. Bibi Fatima, she was buried in secret. Imam Ali, he was buried in secret. This is the first body, this is the first janazah that has left the household of the Prophet. And look at what they have done. There was a rain of arrows on the janazah of Imam Hassan. The whole coffin, it turned red with the blood of Imam Hassan. He came back to his house. Bibi Zainab, she is crying as she is taking out each and every arrow from the body of Imam Hassan. But I say, come to Karbala, O Zainab. There will be the body of Imam Hussein covered in arrows. But at that time, Bibi Zainab, she will say, I cannot take out any of the arrows of my brother Hussein. Why? They have now bound my hands in rope. And I cannot do anything for Imam Hussein at this time. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Rizam bika zaid wa isliman li amri Hussein.
दरबार में गई थी कारी नमाजियों से महफिल सजी हुई थी जालिम ये पूछता था गाजी तेरा कहाँ बालों से मुँह छुपाए ज़ैनब ये कह रही थी ए मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है रज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है रज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ मैं भी हूँ मर्ज़िया बिन्त खैरुन्निसा मेरे लहजे में है बाबा तेरी अदा नाम ज़ैनब मेरा तूने जो रख दिया दे दिया अपनी ज़ुबान मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ बाबा जान मेरी मांगती रह गई बाहों पर सज गई जीत जी मर गई हल्काए शाम में नाम सुन कर मेरा मर गया मौत ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ शाम कूफा तलक मैंने मांगा नहीं है खिराज फिरक मेरी चादर से है मेरी माँ की सुन ले ज़ालिम जहाँ ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ ऐ मेरे बाबा जान हो रही है अज़ा सर झुकाऊं कहाँ बाबा जान ये तेरा आखिरी ताबयान तेरी चादर बचे इनका गाजी जहाँ मर गया वफा छिन गई है रिदा कहती है बीवियाँ आका
بابا جان ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر جھکاؤں کہاں اے میرے بابا جان، ہو رہی ہے اذان، سر جھکاؤں کہاں؟ یا حسین 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 یا حسین
سیبتے رسول دو سراوا
حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا، زہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا، حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا، زہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا، حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا، گلتے ہوئے بھائی کو بہن نے دیکھا اور تڑپ کر یہ کہا، اور تڑپ کر یہ کہا، تیری غربت میں بھائی تیری زینب فدا، حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا، ماں کے دکھ سے ابھی آزاد کہاں تھی زینب، ہو گیا کیسا غضب، ہو گیا کیسا غضب، باپ زندہ نہ رہا بھائی سوئے خلد گیا، حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا، سیبتے رسول دو سراوا حسن سبز قبا، کر دیے زہر ہلاہل کے جگر کے ٹکڑے، اور قاسم کے لیے، اور قاسم کے لیے، ہم سینی میں ہے یہ یہی شام غریبا جیسا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا ہر جنازہ جو نکل جاتا ہے کب وہ پھر آتا ہے کب وہ پھر آتا ہے ایسا تابوت ہے یہ لوٹ کے جو گھر آیا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا دیے زہر ہلاہل میں جگر کے ٹکڑے اور قاسم کے لیے اور قاسم کے لیے شمسنی میں ہے یہی شام غریبا جیسا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا شہن اس وقت جو غازی کو نہ روکا ہوتا حشر ہو جاتا بقا حشر ہو جاتا بقا تیر آتے نہ جنازے پہ تمہارے مولا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا شہن اس وقت جو غازی کو نہ روکا ہوتا حشر ہو جاتا بقا حشر ہو جاتا بقا تیر آتے نہ جنازے پہ تمہارے مولا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا کوئے حال برادر کا جگر یاد آیا جب سرے کرب و بلا جب سرے کرب و بلا ٹکڑے قاسم کے اٹھاتے ہوئے مولا نے کہا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا شہر سے ٹکڑے جگر خون سے کفن لال ہوا واحسن سبز قبا بے خطا مار گیا صفت رسول دوسرا واحسن سبز قبا حسین 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 حسین
توجہ زیارت بسم اللہ الرحمن الرحیم السلام علیکم یا ابا عبداللہ السلام علیکم یا ابن رسول اللہ السلام علیکم یا ابن امیر المؤمنین السلام علیکم یا ابن فاطمة الزہراء السلام علیکم یا أبا الفضل عباس. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلام عليك يا معين الزعفاء والفقراء. السلام عليك يا شمس الشموس. السلام عليك يا أنيس النفوس. السلام عليك يا مدفون بأرسطوس. السلطان أربي والأجم وأسيران كوفة شام ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الأسر والزمان. الأمان الأمان الأمان. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان. السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. أجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله تعالى مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم كل وليك حجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آله في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.